Alhamdulillah, Assalatu wassalamu ala rasulihil kareem. Amma ba'd, fa'auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair wa bika nasta'inu ya Fattahu ya Fattahu ya Fattahu. Allahumma faqihna fid din. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In our next lesson, lesson 79, we are going to discuss fi'l mabni lil majhul. This is the passive form of past and present tense. So now so you have been learning about active form. Now this is the passive form of present and past tense. What is fail mabni lil majhul? The passives. Fail mabni lil majhul is a fail which describes an action happening on someone or something. So this is a fail describes an action happening or happened on someone or something without mentioning the doer of the action. So the doer remains unknown in this type of fail, while the object on which the action happened is mentioned. So object is mentioned in the sentence. Object in regular sentence we call it maful bihi, but that is mentioned over here. But the actual doer is not mentioned. In Arabic, majhul literally means unknown or anonymous. So that's because the actual doer is not mentioned. Actual doer remains unknown in this type of fail. That's why this is called majhul. Okay. And why is mabni over there? So because the doer is not actual doer of the action is not mentioned, that's why this fail is called majhul. And why it is called mabni? Because it has fixed pattern for past and present tense. That is why it is called mabni, fixed. Okay, so these patterns are fu'ila and yuf'alu. So you in past tense you have u e sound, and in present tense you have u a sound. Uh, Fu'ila, this ending is obviously past tense ending, just like nasara, ra. Okay, and this dhamma at the end in present tense pattern is because the present tense ends like this, fi'l mudari ends like this, yansuru, right? So this ending is there in present and past tense, just like any other ending. Okay, so e sound or fu'ila is for past tense passive, and sound, combination of sound like yuf'alu, that is for present passive. Okay, so this is the introduction of passive fail. Now this slide you might have noticed that you done it in surf lessons. So remember the second line in every surf sarir, what do? We have in the second line is for passives, right? So past passive has e sound and ending sound is a. Actual passive sound is ue sound, or you can say the pattern of fu'ila, and present passive is ua sound. Yuf'alu, u sound. Okay, so just to remind you what we have been doing in surf, and you always have a second line as passive, right? So this is bab daraba pattern. So you have active line over here, fa'ala yaf'ilu, fa'ala yaf'ilu, fa'alan fahuwa fa'ilun. So in over here you can also recall that you have passive fail. Past passive is fu'ila, because daraba family is family 1, so you have only 3 letter in past tense, huwa form. Fu'ila, okay, fu'ila. And in present tense you have this symbol of mudare, ya. So yuf'alu, okay, yuf'alu is the pattern for present passive. Okay, so far so good. So you have in past tense you have e sound, and in present you have a sound. Okay, now going to the nasara family. You remember nasara has in present nasara has fatha on the second letter ain kalma, and dhamma on the present tense, but in active form. Today what we are doing, we are focusing on passive. Look, even in bab nasara, the past passive has fu'ila pattern, which was the same in daraba, and present passive has yuf'alu pattern, a sound. Okay, nusira is the past passive huwa form, yunsaru is present passive huwa form. Okay, so again the same pattern, mabni, fu'ila, yuf'alu. Now this is second family, allama yu'allimu. So over here you can see that this second line, past passive, ullima. yu'allamu. So in what happens in second family, as you go up the number of family, like in family one you have only three letters. In family one you have only three letters. But when you come to this second family, you have an extra middle letter. Middle letter has shadda. So even though you have middle letter shadda, but you have ui sound in past tense. Ullima. Okay, ui sound. And in present tense, even though you have shadda on the middle letter, this middle letter, even though you have shadda, but you have again a sound. You allamu. You allamu. Okay. Ullima you allamu. Fu'ila yufa'alu. Okay. Fu'ila yufa'alu. The a sound. In present tense a, and in past tense e. Now the next one, which is Jahada family, the third family. So again, it has e ue sound in past tense. Juhida, juhida, ue sound, and present passive has yujahadu, ua sound, ua sound. Okay, so same pattern. I'm just revising what you already learned and showing you. You already have seen passives in these sarsavir in these families. Okay, now as we go up, this is family 4, uslima yuslamu. So ui again, past tense passive, ui sound, uslima yuslamu, ua sound. Okay, present passive, ua sound. Now as we go up the families, you know that when we reach family 5, the number of letters in hua form, past tense hua form, becomes 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. The middle letter lam and kalma comes 2 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now the passive form, past passive hua form also has 5 letters. So what happens as you go up in these families? Like now this is family 5, ta'allama family. So you remember past passive is what? Past passive is u e sound, right? So as you go up, in families, Mazid Fihi families, the past passive may have multiple oo sound, like either 2 oo sound or 3 oo sound, and then 1 e sound, and then last is in hua form a sound. Okay, so oo e. In past tense, you can have multiple oo sound, but in present passive, look what happens. In present passive, you have original pattern is u a u sound. Yuf'alu, u sound. As you go up Mazid Fihi families, you will get more and more letters in past tense and present tense and in other sigat also. So over here in present tense, you will have only one u sound, but multiple a sound. So you have, look, in present passive, family 5, you have one u sound, but multiple a sound. Yuta'allamu, yuta'allamu. Okay, multiple a sound. One u sound. In present tense, the pattern is u a. Okay, but when more letters are added as you go up the Mazid Fihi families, so more letters are added. So you have one u sound, but multiple a sound in present passive. Okay, and in past passive, you have multiple oo sound, but only one e sound. Only one e sound. So to ullima, to dhamma, but only one e sound. Kasra. To ullima yuta'allamu. Okay. Past tense to ullima, present tense yuta'allamu. So far so good. So as in fifth family, you have more letters. That's why in past tense you have multiple oo sound, but only one e sound. And in present passive, you have one oo sound, but multiple a sound. Okay. Now, next family, which is family 6. So family 6, look, to uvina, past tense to uvina. So you have two dhamma, u, to u, and then one e. To uvina. Again, pattern is fu'ila, but fu'ila. To uvina. And then yuta'avanu, in present passive, one u sound, multiple a sound. Yuta'avanu. Okay. So in present tense, only one oo sound. In present passive, only one oo sound, but multiple a sound can be there. And in past passive, there can be multiple oo sound, but only one e sound. Oo e. fu'ia or fu'ila. Okay. We don't have passives in family 7, so we have family 8. And again, you can see uqturiba. So 2 dhamma and then 1 kasra. Past passive uqturiba and present passive yuqtarabu. So 1 dhamma and 2 fatha. Okay. Let me highlight this. In past passive, you have multiple dhamma but only 1 kasra. Fu'ila, uqturiba. And in present passive, you have only 1 u sound but multiple a sound. Yuqtarabu. Family 9 also don't have passives. So we are moving on to 10th family. Ustughfira, yustaghfaru. Okay. Just note that past passive has multiple u sound, ustug, and then 1 e sound, ustughfira. And present passive has 1 u sound but multiple a sound, yustaghfaru. So this is the summary of a pattern of mabni, fixed pattern of past passive and present passive. Now we are moving on to the nahw discussion of fi'l mabni majhul. From surf point of view, we saw the pattern. We saw how higher families in higher mazid fihi families have multiple u sound in past passive and can have multiple a sound in present passive. Now we are moving on to nahwi discussion, grammar discussion. So the sentence structure, you already know the sentence structure of regular fail, the active fail, active tense, right? What is that structure? The jumla failure, regular jumla failure with active form. What is you already done it? So what is that? First you have fail, and then you have file, and then you have maf'ulat, maf'ul bihi, or other mafa'il, right? This is for active form. The same, almost the same happens here in jumla failure, in jumla failure with passive fail. So in jumla failure with passive fail, well, you have again fail, which is passive, like we can say pf, passive fail. And then you have a marfu ism, an ism which is in marfu status, but we don't call it file, because actually that ism is not the doer of the action, but it is the done to of the action, but in the rafa form. So that's why we call it naibul file. Okay. And then you may have other details, but not maful bihi, because maful bihi has in passive jumla failure, maful bihi becomes the naibul file. Okay, maful bihi becomes, you like let me discuss let us discuss one example here. Look, he ate the cake. Okay, let me write the regular jumla. He ate the cake. Okay, so in this regular jumla you have he uh, he ate is the fail. Okay, akala, he ate is the fail, but it has a file huwa which is hidden, mustatir, fail. Fail and file are together, and then you have cake as maful bihi in regular jumla ismiya. But the passive one would be the cake was eaten. Over here, the actual doer, who was he is not mentioned in this one. In the passive sentence, he is not mentioned. The actual doer is not mentioned in this passive sentence. The cake was eaten. So, but the cake which is maful bihi is mentioned, and when you write the sentence in Arabic, was eaten would be the fail, and the cake would follow in its marfu form. Okay, so the cake in jumla failure passive will be like we will call it naibul file. Okay, cake would be naibul file because it is not the actual doer, but it is an ism which is rafa and coming after a passive fail. Okay. Over here, the one carrying out the fail is anonymous. The actual doer of the action is anonymous. So a sentence with a fail mabni lil majhul can never have a file in it. So the done to is labeled as the naibul file. Okay. And passive sentences do not contain a maful bihi. Okay. Passive sentences do not, the done to is labeled as naibul file, and it comes in the sentence as a marfu ism. okay, as a marfu, rafa, an ism in rafa status, and it is called as naibul file. And the passive sentences do not contain a maful bihi, because maful bihi is mentioned in the form of naibul file. But there can be other additional information can be there in passive sentences, like mutaliq bil fail or zarf shibu jumla. Okay. Now, this is the Urdu slide. Okay, so just to make sure you know the construction of Jumla failure, this is a drill so that you are going to identify the fail and the naibul file. So let's first identify the fail in all these sentences. The fruits and vegetables were washed and dried one by one. So were washed is passive fail. The emperor's robes are stitched by hand. So are stitched. Okay, this is fail. Then prisoners were released after the treaty was signed. So were released and was signed. And then this dictionary was compiled is past passive. Then my team was never defeated, was never defeated. We were given the goal, we were given is the fail. Okay. Were given is the fail. And the gold medal at the tournament last year. And then his house was robbed while he was away. So his house was robbed is the fail. Okay, now we identified the fail. Now you tell me what is the naibul file. In naibul file would be the one done to. By meaning wise would be a done to. Okay, so let me change the color. What is naibul file? Were washed. Were the thing which were washed? Fruits and vegetables. The fruits and vegetable is the naibul file. Okay, so are stitched. What were stitched? The emperor's robe. So this is naibul file. Prisoners are naibul file because they were released, and treaty is naibul file because it was signed. The dictionary was compiled, so this is naibul file. My team never defeated. This is a naibul file, and over here we okay, we were given, so the we over here is naibul file. His house was robbed, so his house is naibul file. So the rest of the words in the sentence, they are the other details. So passive jumla failure, a passive jumla failure can have a fail, a naibul file, and other details like dried one by one. Sorry, over here, I think the fail should be were washed and dried. Okay, both are fail. And then one by one is the detail. One by one is the detail. By hand is the detail. One by one, uh, how is telling you how. So it can be maful mutlaq, by hand, maybe mutaliq bil fail. Okay, and after it can be zarf. Okay, many years ago, again zarf, time, telling you the time, the detail about time. Over here, a second maful bihi is there. We were given the gold medal, and at the tournament last year is last year is detail, and you can see maful fihi. While he was away, this is also telling you the time and of the action. So these are details. So you just in this drill, you say the main thing you learned was how to identify the passive fail and then the naibul file, the done to. Okay. Now we are moving on to the past passive. Okay, how they look. What like when you read the ayat or the Arabic sentences, how they appear. So if it is a huwa form, look, these are past passive. Okay, these are all past passive. If it's a huwa form, then look, fu'ila nusira. Huwa form is nusira, but hiya form would have nusirat. Nusirat. Tanis. So ukhrija is huwa form, but hiya form would be ukhrijat. She was expelled. So ukhrijat. Okay. So this is hiya form. Hum form would be nusira. Hum form would be nusiru. So ending in hum form would be nusiru. Over here, this is family 8. Untusiru. So you can untusiru, you have multiple u sound because this is family 8. It has more than 3 letters. So untusiru. 2 dhamma but 1 kasra. So past passive. And the ending tells you the naibul file. They were given victory. Untusiru. Okay, this is huwa form, this is hum form, untusiru. And when you come to remember when you do the past tense sarf kabir, in when you come to hunna form, you have sukun on the last third letter, lam kalma. Okay, so in hunna form you have sukun, you have to have a sukun at the third root letter, like nasarna, nasarna. So you have sukun at ra, nasarna. So over here in passive form also, yeah, you have sukun on hunna form and the rest of the sigat, like anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, and ana and nahnu. So ana form you have sukun over here. Look, rufitu, I was lifted. I was lifted. From u-e sound, you can say that rufi'at. U-e sound, you can say this is passive. And this ending is telling you that the naibul file is ana. This ending is telling you the naibul file is ana. Rufi'tu. Okay. And ujibna, u-e sound, tell you past passive. And na ending is telling you that this is hunna form. They were impressed. They, all females were impressed. So ujibna. Okay. So this is about these examples just to explain it to you how the ending of the different forms will be different in past tense. Hua form has a sound, nusira. Hum form would have u sound, nusiru. Here would be at form, ukhrijat, nusirat, rufiat, right? And ana form will have ending tu, rufi'tu, nusirtu, I was helped. Okay, nusirtu, I was helped. Rufi'tu, I was lifted. And hunna form, just like has sukun. So jibna. Okay, so far so good. This is past tense, passive, different sigat. And this is the sarf kabir. So huwa nusira, fu'ila. Okay, u-e sound. Let me identify the u-e sound every time. Okay, huwa nusira, huma nusira, hum nusiru, hiya nusirat, huma nusirata, hunna nusirna. So u-e sound is there, but the third root letter, which is ra, has sukun in hunna. And after hunna, you will get this sukun everywhere. Okay, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. So you will get sukun everywhere. Anta nusirta. So u-e sound, past passive. Anta nusirta, antuma nusirtuma, antum nusirtum, ana nusirti. Oh, sorry. Anti nusirti, antuma nusirtuma, antunna nusirtunna, ana nusirtu, nahnu nusirna. Okay, so you need to memorize this so that you know the past passive conjugation. Okay, so this is past passive conjugation. You need to memorize this, and this is sarf kabir, past passive. Okay, then present passive. This over here, this is misprinting. It is fe'le mudari mabni lil majhul. This is present passive, not past passive. Okay, present passive. So present passive af'al. So here are example. So over here, what do you see? Present passive af'al. Yunsaru. This is huwa form. He is helped. So yunsaru. A sound. A sound. And ending is just like any mudari ending in huwa form. Huwa form has dhamma at the end, right? So yunsaru. And hiya form will have ta beginning and u ending. Ta beginning and u ending. So tukhraju, u and a sound. Tukhraju. Okay. Urfa, urfa'u. I was lifted. I'm lifted. Oh, not was. I am lifted. Okay. I am lifted. Urfa'u. U, a sound, and this dhamma is telling us that this is a beginning and u ending is ana form. Okay. In present tense, hamza as the symbol of mudare and u at the end tells you that this is ana form. Urfa'u. And in hunna again you see yu'jabna. They are impressed. They female. Yu'jabna. So u a sound, but hunna has ending like that, like this. In present tense, yu'jabna. Home form, ya beginning, una ending, so yuntasaruna. And you have one dhamma and two fatha. Why? Because this is family 8. Yuntasaruna. Okay. So in present passive, you can have one u sound but multiple a sound. Okay. U a. U a u is the basic pattern. أو ينصر تخرج أو أرفع أو. So ينتصرون, you have one U sound but two A sound because this is family 8. It has more letters. So that's why you have one U sound and multiple A sound. Okay. So far so good. Now we have this conjugation, present tense conjugation. So you see, again, I'm gonna highlight the pattern, pattern sound, U A sound. Okay, Hua yunsaru, U A, Hua yunsaru, Huma yunsarani. So the dual pattern in present tense, you know, is ani. Ending is ani. So Huma yunsarani, Hum yunsaruna, yunsaruna, U A sound. Hiya tunsaru. Here has ta beginning, a symbol of mudare. So tunsaru, huma tunsarani, hunna yunsarna, anta tunsaru, antuma tunsarani, antum tunsaruna. Ta beginning, una ending. Antum, ta beginning, una ending with u a sound. So this is present passive. U a sound. Tunsaruna. Anti tunsarina. Anti tunsarina. The active form is tansurina, but passive form is tunsarina. Anti tunsarina, antuma tunsarani, antunna tunsarna, ana unsaru, nanu nunsaru. Okay, again you need to memorize this conjugation. This is present tense passive conjugation. فعل مضارع مبني للمجهول صرف كبير. Okay. Now we have another topic to learn, which is to recognize and translate passives. So how to recognize and translate the passives. Okay. When looking at a fail, you should be able to determine when looking at a fail, you should be able to determine whether it is past or present and whether it is active or passive. We just did this exercise in previous few slides. So the e sound tells you it is past passive, a sound tells you it is present passive, and then you will see you can even tell the form in which that word is, like it is whether it's hua form or hia form or whom form. Okay. First determine whether it is past or present. So past is e sound, okay, and present is a sound with the symbol of mudare. Remember, symbol of mudare are ya, ta, noon, and hamza. Ya, ta, noon, and hamza. And past tense usually end in a sound, except the siga from hunna to nahnu. And mudare usually end in dhamma for 5 in your pocket, or ani or una. Okay, so that's how you can see. So for past tense, you have u is u e sound, but you can have multiple u and single e sound also. And in present tense, you have u a sound. Basic is u a pattern. Present tense basic is u a pattern, but you can have one u and multiple a sound. Okay. Actually, learning the laws might seem difficult, but when you apply it and you do the conjugation, it becomes easier. Like with examples, it becomes easier. And how to translate? Once you figure out the tense and the inside pronoun, whether it is active or passive, you should be able to translate. So past passive translate as X was like eaten, or X was followed, someone was followed, or something was eaten. And present passive, something is eaten, or someone is followed, is being followed. And this is like transitivity. Whether a fail can be turned into passive or not. If it can be turned into passive, then it is transitive. But if it is not, it cannot be made passive, it cannot be made majhul, then it is intransitive. Intransitive fail is called lazim, and transitive fail is called mutaddi. Okay. So over here, what's there, that you may have noticed the role of the naibul file, which is actually the done to in a passive sentence. And this is the role is similar to the role of maful bihi in non-passive sentence, right? And we discuss it that in active sentence, in active jumla failure, the thing that is maful bihi becomes a naibul file in passive jumla failure. Okay. So if you have a passive jumla failure, the marfu ism is called naibul file, while the same ism when in the active jumla failure will be a maful bihi. Okay. Now, this slide is about just like we in for regular file, the doer, you have inside doer and outside doer. The same way, naibul file also can be can be inside and outside. So naibul file, just recall that naibul file is the done to, is the done to. So in the sentence, the cake was eaten, the word cake is the naibul file. Okay. Though the role differs here, but the grammar rule of the naibul file are exactly the same as rules of the file. Just keep in mind that the grammar rules of the naibul file are exactly same as the rules of the file. So the file should be after fail, whether it's a file or naibul file. Okay, so it has to be a rafa ism and it has to come after fail. Okay, so that's the grammar rule for naibul file or file, both. And both can be inside or outside. And for inside doer, we know that hua is hidden, here is nusirat is hidden, but nusiru, we have wow at the end, right? We have wow at the end. So for outside doer, we have the same grammar rule, and you know it. If the fail is in hua or hiya form, then only we will look for outside doer, right? So we will look for outside naibul file. Okay. If the passive fail is in hua or hiya form, we will look for outside naibul file, and that outside naibul file must be in a marfu ism, an ism in rafa status, and it must come after the fail. It must come after the fail. Okay. So nusir na, u e sound past tense, right? Nusir na. So u e sound past tense and na ending tells us that the naibul file is nahnu. We were helped. So over here, this is not in hua or hiya form. So we are not going to see the outside doer. Over here, we know that this na is inside doer, nahnu. We have another example. Okay, in this sentence, nusiral muslimuna. So nusira, ui sound, past tense passive. Nusira is hua form. Hua form can have an outside doer. And outside doer should be after the fail in rafa status. So una ending is rafa status. Al muslimuna, una ending is rafa status. So this is the naibul for outside naibul file of nusira. Okay, so that's how you are going to identify the outside naibul file in Quranic ayat and other Arabic sentences. And here are some examples. So duriba masalun. Duriba, u-e sound. Duriba, u-e sound. And hua form. Duriba is hua form, nusira. Masalun is a marfu ism which is coming after hua form. So this is the outside doer. So what was struck? An example. Masalun, an example was struck. Unzilat, u-e sound. U-e sound, past passive. And la, ta with sukun. So ta tanis, hiya form. Unzilat, it was sent down. So here form, we can have an outside doer. So we have suratun, marfu ism coming after a fail. So a surah was sent. Okay. Yurzaquna, the a sound. Yurzaquna. So this is present passive. Yurzaquna. So this is present passive. Ya beginning, una ending. So this is home form. Okay. Yurzaquna. They were given provision. They were given provision, and this una is home form and it is inside doer. Uiddat. Uiddat, again here form, right? Uiddat, ue sound, past tense, passive. Uiddat, here form. So it was prepared lil muttaqin. This is the detail. Lil muttaqin, for the God conscious people. Yurzaquna fiha, they are given provision in it. Okay. So these were the examples of a few examples of inside and outside naibul file. This is the okay. So we already did how to identify and find the naibul file in a sentence, outside naibul file as well as inside naibul file. Okay. Now these are my lesson slides for Urdu recording over here. So these are some why we need passive voice. Why, like when why passive afal are used in Quran and in other like Arabic language. So there can be rhetorical benefits. Like the first one, when over here, the distinguishing feature of a passive is that the doer is left unknown. So who is the doer, that is not there. When a speaker chooses not to mention the doer, the focus is shifted to the action or the object of the action. So now the focus is either on the action or the object of the action. So the rhetorical benefit of using passive voice can be that the speaker wants to focus on either on the action or the object of the action, naibul file. So there can be different benefits when there is no reason to mention the doer. When there is no reason to mention the doer. وَإِذَا حُيِّيتُم بِتَحِيَّةٍ فَحَيُّوا بِأَحْسَنَ منها أو ردوها. If you are greeted with a greeting, then greet using a better greeting or return it. So if you are greeted, okay, حُيِّيتُم. If you are, when you are greeted, okay, are greeted. So this command applies. Fahayu, this is a command, okay? This command applies regardless of who is sending the greeting. There is no reason to mention the file. There's no reason to mention the file because the commanding is about the uh, how you are going to return. No matter whoever greeted you, how would be your response. So the main focus is how would be your response. So the greeter, who greeted first, was not in the focus. إذا سمعتم آيات الله يكفر بها أو يستهزأ بها فلا تقعدوا معهم. So over here again, whoever was like mocking the ayat of Allah, no matter whoever was mocking, do not sit with them. So there was no reason to focus on the action, the doer of the action, but it was advised not to sit with them. So the command applies regardless of who is believing and who is disbelieving and mocking. The same here. فإن أُصِرَ على أنهما استحقا إثما فآخران يقومان مقامهما. If it is discovered that they too are guilty, let two others take their place. So this command also applies regardless of who discovers that they are guilty. Again, the doer, the mentioning the doer is not in the focus, but there's no reason to mention the doer, the actual doer, the file. Okay. Another benefit for using the passive form is out of respect for Allah. And another is expanding the scope of the action. Like they were lu'inu fi dunya wal akhirah, they were cursed in this world and the next. So who did the cursing? It is not mentioned. So the scope of the action is expanded. If the file would have been mentioned here, so it would have restricted to only one file, but lu'inu means they were cursed. So there can be multiple who were cursing them. So the scope of the action is expanded by using this passive voice. Lu'inu. Now these are exercises, and inshallah we are going to do these exercises in a live session. If you have any question, you can ask me in the live session, inshallah. Let's conclude the session with dua. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.